Every day of your life, your brain is offering you a deal. The deal is simple. Your brain says, you want all those wonderful things for yourself in life. You want to be healthy. You want to be happy. You want to feel confident and accomplished. Good for you. But here is what I want, your brain would say, if it could have this conversation with you. I want to conserve energy.
Welcome to Philosopher Insights, the podcast that delivers wisdom in minutes a day that you can put into practice daily and strive to master over a lifetime.
The podcast committed to sharing ideas that encourage you to bridge the gap between who you are today and the person you aspire to be in the future.
Hi, my name is Herb Lamba, and welcome to my podcast, where I will share practical insights from the world's best authors.
Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is. The quest to become the best version of you starts right now.
Hi, and welcome to Philosopher Insights. My name is Herb Lamba. Today we're discussing the 6% Club. Unlock the secret to achieving any goal and thriving in business and life. The author of this book is Michelle Rozen. It's published in 2024. I want to share a number of my favorite insights, starting with the 6% Club could change your life. What do you want? Don't sign this deal with your brain. Take charge mindset, power of the pause, the 0-10 rule, the $100 bill effect, and then finish it off with the first day in the 6% Club. So let's kick this off with the introduction. Quote, on the flight back home, I thought to myself, what is it? What is it that makes people drop the ball on what they want for themselves time and time again? There's so much pain in the world around things that people want to see happening in their lives, on which they just seem to keep dropping the ball. I had to figure out if the problem was as big as I thought and what was actually going on. I rolled up my sleeves and I got to work. I surveyed 1,000 people between the ages of 20 and 60 who all pledged to make a change in their lives. I surveyed them from January to June because I wanted to find out what happens to all of the things they say they will do. Are they actually going to follow through? When June came around and I was done analyzing the results, my jaw dropped. Out of 1,000 surveyed, 94% of people dropped the ball on whatever they had pledged to do by the end of February. That means that 94% of people want to change certain things in life, decide to change things in their life, and get excited about the promise that it holds, but then have no idea what to do with it later. When I saw the research data and realized that only 6% of people reach their goals, my mind was made up. For over a decade, I've been sharing with the world's top leaders the secret for making changes that stick. It's not fair for only a small group of people to know about this, I thought to myself. You see, I knew what that secret was, and I knew that it was so simple and easy to execute. I also knew that I had to share it." End quote. Well, have you heard about the 6% Club by Michelle Rozen? It's this cool, quick reading book that lets you in on why only 6% of people actually achieve their goals. Now that is downright crazy. Most people don't know about what it takes to join this exclusive club, but Michelle's cracked the code, and guess what? She's sharing all the juicy details in her book. Here's the deal. Listen to this episode or read her book, and you'll be in on the secret. It's like getting a VIP pass to the success party, but the secret comes with a catch. Knowing the secret is just step one. What you do with that info, that's all on you. So, are you ready to peek behind the curtain and maybe join that top 6%? I'm excited to share with you, so let's get started with the first insight. Insight number 1, the 6% Club could change your life. Quote, we all know that hitting that button over and over again will not lead to a different result. It won't make the elevator arrive any faster. Everyone knows that action will not bring the elevator any faster, and yet almost everyone does it, day in and day out, without even thinking. Why? This is why I wrote this book for you. It's time for you to find out why this happens, how to change it, and how to make sure this never happens to you again. What is it that only 6% of people do differently that gets them the career, the relationships, the health, the fitness, the business, the finances, and everything else that they want for themselves? It's time to get away from mindlessly hitting that elevator button over and over again in your career and your life. Welcome to the 6% Club. Something mindful, intentional, and different is going to happen. Your life is about to change. End quote. You know what's funny? We're all guilty of this. Picture yourself frantically jabbing at that elevator button as if your finger has magical powers to make it arrive faster. Now here's the kicker. We do the exact same thing with our careers and our lives. We keep hitting that metaphorical button, hoping for a promotion, a better relationship, or whatever it is we're after. Then we're scratching our heads wondering why nothing's changing. Remember that old saying about insanity? It goes something like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, hate to break it to you, but that's exactly what we're doing. It's time to face the music. If we want different results, we've got to change our tune. Maybe it's time to take the stairs instead of waiting for that elevator, if you catch my drift. What do you think? Ready to shake things up a bit? It's only a hunch, but something tells me if you are still listening, then you're definitely ready to learn the secret to changing. Insight number 2. What do you want? Quote, if you don't pause to define for yourself what you really want, what matters to you the most for your future, then you need to take the first and most important step in starting a process of change. Pause. Think. Stop the rat race and ask yourself this one very important question. What do I really want? You don't need to figure out what you want in every area of your life all at once. You do, however, need to define at least what you want, one desire, something you want to change in your life in order to improve it. That's the first step. Once you've defined this, then you can start navigating the ship of your life better. End quote. Isn't it funny how the question, what do you want, is so simple, yet so many people have a hard time answering it. A lot of us never really stop to think about what we truly want in life. Instead, we just kind of float along, letting life happen to us instead of taking the wheel. The cool thing is, we all have the power to steer our own ship and go wherever we want. We just need to take a moment to figure out our destination. Quote, it doesn't matter what parents, grandparents, foster parents, teachers, or other authority figures in your life told you, planned for you, or pushed you toward. The only thing that matters is what you want. It's not their life. It's yours. End quote. Now, I totally get where this message is coming from. I wish I had heard this advice way back when, too. You know, it's funny how we sometimes let other people's opinions steer our lives, isn't it? I mean, here I was, absolutely crazy about sports broadcasting. That was my dream. Always in my head, even when I was out there playing with friends. That's passion, plain and simple. But then, boom, all these people start chiming in their 2 cents. Oh, you can't do that. There's no money in it. Only the top dogs make any real cash. Blah, blah, blah. And I listened to them. Looking back now, I'm thinking, why didn't I just trust my gut? It's like we forget that our hearts are trying to tell us something important. I mean, my heart was practically screaming broadcasting at me. It's a tough lesson to learn, but hey, at least I figured it out now, right? Better late than never, I suppose. One thing I know for sure is that I'll never steer my son away from following his heart. He's wanted to be a teacher since he was just 5 years old, and that passion hasn't wavered in a decade. Sure, he might not make as much money or get the same level of respect from everyone as he would in other professions. But you know what? He's focused on making a difference in people's lives, and to me, that's a truly noble calling. Insight number 3. Don't sign this deal with your brain. Quote, every day of your life, your brain is offering you a deal. The deal is simple. Your brain says, you want all those wonderful things for yourself in life. You want to be healthy. You want to be happy. You want to feel confident and accomplished. Good for you. But here is what I want, your brain would say, if it could have this conversation with you. I want to conserve energy. In other words, I want to stay at the 20%. And nothing that you want for yourself in life can change that strong desire of mine. I want things to stay just as they are so that I can conserve energy, and you are going to stay stuck, frustrated, and going around in circles for the rest of your life. Do we have a deal? Your brain would ask. Sign here, and here, and here, initial here. So here's the thing. 94% of people do not read the fine print. They sign the deal. They repeat the same mistakes over and over again. End quote. This part of the book was definitely one of my favorites. Just thinking about having a chat with our brains is kind of hilarious, right? But seriously, if we could actually do that, I bet more people would end up negotiating a better deal for themselves. Instead of just signing away their choices and getting stuck in the same old patterns, they can make smarter decisions and really change their lives. You know you've signed that dreaded deal if you're the type who loves to point fingers at everybody else. It's their fault, you'll say, completely missing the fact that the real issue is that ridiculous deal you made with your brain. Seriously, it's like your brain is sitting there with a smug grin thinking, you signed up for this chaos, buddy. Time to take a closer look at that contract. Quote, it is easy for your brain to be on autopilot. The moment it recognizes something it thinks of as a pattern, a well-worn trail, it can relax and let habit take over. So many times, habit takes over even when it's clearly not the right choice. End quote. It seems so obvious when the author puts it like that. Just remember, your brain is all about conserving energy. So when you get one of those wild ideas to try something new, your brain isn't thrilled. It just wants to hit the autopilot button and go back to conserving that precious energy. Insight number 4. Take charge mindset. Quote, taking control of the wheel of your ship and setting your own course is the right way to lead your own life. This is your right and your obligation to yourself. It's not a matter of education, money, personality, or circumstances. It's simply a matter of taking charge and getting out of passive victim mode. It's a matter of dropping all the reasons, explanations, and excuses. There are 2 kinds of people in this world. Those who get the results they want for their life, work, and future, and those who are great at finding excuses for why they didn't get results. End quote. Wow, again, so simple, isn't it? Are you starting to see what the 6% do that the other 94% don't? I think it's pretty clear to anyone paying attention, but here is the deal. If you're not part of the 6% club yet, consider this your friendly reminder. Remember, Jim Rohn's wise words. What is easy to do is just as easy not to do. The 6% club has positive habits that they've intentionally put in place and let run on autopilot. Meanwhile, many of us are stuck with a negative habit that we run on repeat all day long, and those habits tend to stick around for life. We need to take accountability and responsibility for our choices in life. Insight number 5, the power of the pause. Quote, people have meetings all the time. They spend a lot of time in endless meetings at work talking about business goals and projections. Some families have family meetings. Now think of yourself. You are a project manager of your life, CEO, president, VP, and support staff. You are all of those things combined into one person, and yet you never have meetings with yourself. You probably don't set goals, and if you do, you don't treat it as seriously as you would if those had been business or work goals. You know when people have meetings with themselves? In therapy. End quote. Yikes. Reading that really made me take a hard look at myself. I've got to admit, I don't treat my personal goals nearly as seriously as I do my work deadlines or milestones. And as I say that, I can't help but think how totally ridiculous and embarrassing that is. Quote, do you ever pause? I mean really pause. I bet if you think about it, you'll realize that you don't. Not really. Modern life has turned your living experience into a rat race. End quote. Now just to clarify, when the author talks about taking a pause, she's not suggesting you take a vacation or just a day off here and there. She's talking about hitting the pause button in your life to give yourself some space to think. It's about having a little meeting with yourself to tackle some important questions like, what matters most to me right now? Or, what things am I putting off in my life? Insight number 6, the 0-10 rule. Quote, at any given time, when I felt overwhelmed and wasn't sure where to put my time, I used the scaling system. Should I do this or should I do that right now? If this is a 2 and this is a 10, I would do the 10. It took me 2 seconds to decide and focus my brain on what mattered most. End quote. You know, one of the things I really love about reading, it's all the brain hacks and tricks you'll discover that people have used to improve their lives. Here is a simple one you can start using today. Just rate your choices and go with the one that matters most. For example, if you're watching TV scores a 4 and going for a walk scores a 10, then it's time to grab your shoes and head outside. But here's a little warning. Don't overthink it. If you sit there too long, your brain might start convincing you that that 4 is actually more appealing. And suddenly that walk you rated as a 10 can wait. So trust your gut and make the choice quickly. Quote, it's not a question of if life will get in the way. It will. It is a question of how focused you're going to be at any time on what matters the most. To you, to no one else. That is the real game changer. End quote. Now, I hope you're starting to notice the difference between the 94% who struggle and the 6% who seem to have it all figured out. Those 6%ers really stick to what matters to them, even when they're not feeling it. Whether they're tired or just had a rough day, they've figured out how crucial it is to commit what they've identified as the most important. It's all about staying focused, no matter what. Insight number 7, the $100 bill effect. Quote, if we work together or belong to the same community, imagine if I told you, hey, I got a bunch of $100 bills to give out. If you come say hi to me, I'll give you a stack of bills. Are you coming to say hi to me? I think you are. Did you know that every time you give someone a genuine compliment, it triggers the reward center of the brain, the same area in the brain that lights up when receiving cash? That means that every day you start out with the equivalent of a stack of hundreds. You can just give them out. Since they are compliments and not actual bills, nothing will be lacking in your checking account. End quote. What a fantastic way to highlight the power of compliments. It's like having a stack of $100 bills that you can hand out all day, every day. But here's what's important. The compliments the author is talking about go beyond just saying, hey, you look really nice today. Those are pretty surface level. What the author is suggesting is that we need to dig a little deeper and give more meaningful compliments. Quote, I have to tell you how amazing you were in helping me with my problem. When you did X, it was so resourceful and smart. End quote. Now, I'm sure you can see the difference. That deeper compliment really adds more meaning, and it takes a bit more effort on your part. But you know what? It's totally worth it because it helps build a stronger connection between you and the person receiving it. Quote, the mental reaction is something like this. If you see me enough to see how hard I am trying, and you see me in this genuinely positive vibe, I feel more connected to you. End quote. When you put the $100 bill effect into practice, it's not just about making others feel good. It also boosts your sense of empathy and kindness. It really helps shift your mindset to a more positive place. Insight number 8, first day in the 6% Club. Quote, your first day in the 6% Club is about doing these 3 things. 1 is make the decision that fear is not in control of your life anymore. 2 is taking your first step out of your comfort zone. And 3 is making a granular plan for the next 30 days. End quote. Now that sounds pretty doable, right? Kick fear to the curb, launch yourself out of your comfort zone, and create a plan that you can run for 30 days. This plan you create must include defining a clear goal for the next 30 days, a conscious effort to focus on your 10s in whatever you do, and writing down what you will do differently in the next 30 days to ensure you hit your goal. And that wraps up my quick look at The 6% Club by Michelle Rozen. It's a super easy read, packed with practical ideas that you can start using right away. If you want to break free from the 94% and step into a higher quality life with the 6% Club, this book is definitely worth checking out. Quote, many people start and stop, start and drop, start and give up. Not you, not now, not ever. Keep going. Welcome to the 6% Club. End quote. Until next time, stay curious and keep embracing the wonders of knowledge. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Philosopher Insights with your host, Herb Lambert. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.